despite what he calls recessionary conditions in the housing market in this country, CIBC's deputy chief economist says that it will hardly put a dent in the housing affordability crisis.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's government is grappling with a nationwide surge in housing costs that political rivals have seized upon for attacks.
After 8 years of Trudeau, life is increasingly a living hell for the working class people of this country.
The Canadian government is underestimating the number of new homes needed to address a spiraling affordability crisis by about 1.5 million units, says Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce research, thus making the crisis a planned one. Come, let's dive deeper into the topic. We need to wake up. This is an affordability crisis that we are facing, says Benjamin Tal, Managing Director and Deputy Chief Economist at CIBC Capital Markets. Canadian housing is becoming unaffordable to a significantly high proportion of the population. While Canada's National Housing Agency says the country needs to add 3.5 million extra units by 2030 to make shelter affordable, the true number is actually about 5 million additional homes, CIBC economist Benjamin Tal wrote in a report. Immigration Minister Mark Miller acknowledged the recent migration surprises have immediate public policy implications and agreed the government could do a better job of dealing with the aggregate numbers so people know what they're solving for. Let's not fool ourselves in thinking that even if we were to project out for 10 years, that people would automatically adjust because people get elected and unelected based on their ability to fulfill promises to the people that got them there, he said. They sometimes get elected on cuts. According to Benjamin Tal, Canada's housing crisis is a planned crisis. Tal says that the Canadian government is underestimating the number of new homes needed by about 1.5 million units. Canadian home prices skyrocketed 46% during COVID-19 as a result of the pandemic and an extended period of low interest rates. Although housing prices have experienced uneven volatility since then, this is likely only temporary. As Mr. Tal confirms, any slowdown is only a blip. This is a very tight housing market. The main cause of housing becoming unaffordable is that demand continues to remain much higher than supply. Mr. Tal explains, "Last year, we got no less than 950,000 new immigrants, non-permanent residents, people from the Ukraine, and students. This year, I estimate roughly 1.1 million. None of them carry their house on their back. This means there will be approximately over 1 million people seeking housing this year alone. Those with mortgages pay more in interest, causing some people to be deterred from buying property, thereby decreasing demand. However, interest rate increases alone are not enough to offset the high demand and low supply issues for a significant period. For this reason, higher interest rates have not deterred the housing affordability crisis. Higher interest rates have caused nothing more than a modest decline in housing prices, according to Century 21 Canada's annual price per square foot survey. Continued volatility within the housing market is expected in the short term, especially if the BOC continues to adjust interest rates. However, unless major initiatives are taken to increase the supply of housing, we expect home prices to continue to go up in the long term. The long-term trajectory of this market is up if we don't do something about supply, says Mr. Tal. Not only is that number staggering, but many obstacles would be faced to arrive at this outcome. Barriers include delays in implementing this initiative, skill shortages, supply chain issues, and the fact that increasing supply would put upward pressure on the cost of construction. Mr. Tal suggests we have to provide the reduced development charges and the fair HST payments. Basically, provide incentives to developers to build apartment buildings. That is a big part of the solution. So that's it. Does the govt gonna lift the barriers of crisis with any new plan? What do you think? Comment your thoughts. Hit the like button and subscribe for more.